So I'm not gonna lie, I feel like shit today. And I'm so annoyed with myself because I was on such a high, having like worked at that festival and done something that was completely out of my comfort zone and really challenged myself in ways that may seem small and insignificant or ridiculous, but for me it was a massive accomplishment. And then, what do? I go and make decisions that I know are bad for me and do things that I know affect me negatively, that I know fuck up my serotonin and make me bad tempered and a bad mom and have like low mood and just generally are not good for like a positive or even disposition. And I'm really upset and I'm really disappointed in myself. That's the truth of the matter. So I always say that relapse is a part of recovery. And like I'm not talking about drugs when I say that. I say that to everybody. I say that to everybody all the time. I say it to all my friends because I'm talking about any kind of like change or betterment or growth or evolution or breaking of habits or whatever kind of adage that you want to use. I'm talking about that when I talk about relapse is part of rehabilitation because, if you think about it, if you're trying to get out of unhealthy relationships, for example, if you constantly find yourself in a relationship where there's domestic abuse of some kind, like the likelihood is that you're going to go back to the same relationship or a relationship that's similar while you're on your road to recovery. If you're trying to stop eating sweets, if you're trying to break a bad habit, a habit that's been formed over a long period of time, it's really important to understand that relapse is a part of recovery, you know, and it works for everything, absolutely everything. But the thing is like, I say it to other people and I tell people, look, don't be so hard on yourself if you fuck up on this road to recovery, to change, to whatever. But I think I'm just really hard on myself and I have really high expectations of myself to be better and to not make mistakes. And I think that's all around my need to be perfect, my need to be seen as perfect. Maybe my need to see myself as perfect, something like that. So I find it really difficult to accept mistakes. And it's funny when I say that, I hear myself saying that to my mum all the time. It's just a mistake, mum. It was an accident. You don't need to catastrophize it. But it's interesting, isn't it, how I've inherited that behavior and I've internalized it rather than doing it to other people. But it got me thinking today, because as much as it's true, right? As much as it's true that relapse is a part of recovery, I also don't think it's helpful to just constantly relapse, like to just constantly just keep doing the same thing and then say to yourself, well, it's part of recovery. You're not really on a road, you're just on a fucking roundabout. You know what I mean? Just going round and round and round doing the same thing again. So it got me thinking, okay, if I don't want to use it as an excuse, but also I don't want to beat myself up about it, where's the middle ground? Where's the balance? And I guess it made me think about, like, what is it that I can do now? Okay, so I have this awareness that I'm not happy with my decision. I have an awareness that I don't want to crucify myself for it like I do usually, like I would never do to someone else. So what do I do with this awareness? Okay, I think there's a couple of things to learn. So I think firstly, it's important for me to understand that I have a tendency when I hit a peak in my life to make poor decisions because I feel unencumbered and uninhibited, and that often can send me crashing back down. And I think that that's probably like a form of self-sabotage because I can't really accept that things are going well for too long of a period. So I have to make a poor decision. So that I think is important to know so that I can be aware of that next time. I think the other thing that is really important right now is to understand that I have a choice. So I can't claim ignorance anymore. I can't say, oh, well, you know, I don't know, whatever fucking excuse that I used to make for making really poor decisions that I know that are not good for myself. So it's like, okay, I think the way to get out of that cycle of relapsing into the same old habits is to make a choice once you realize that you've done it. What are you going to do now? So do I want to follow the similar pattern that I would previously have followed of feeling like shit, talking to myself like shit, treating myself like shit in all ways, like lying on the sofa doing nothing, eating McDonald's, like just feeding that negativity and feeding that self-harm, that microaggression towards myself because I've made a mistake and I have to catastrophize it? Or now that I'm aware of it, do I want to make a conscious choice to do something different? Do I want to get up and go out of the house? Do I want to take a walk? Do I want to look after myself? Do I want to be aware of the thoughts that are intrusively coming into my head? Do I want to make a different choice at this point now? Because I also think, like, as much as, yeah, on the road to recovery, you are going to make mistakes, I also feel like that there's something about that kind of like rebound time. So, like when you exercise and stuff, often it's not the amount of exercise that you do that shows your fitness level. It's your ability to rebound back into like homeostasis for your body to like go, your heart to calm down and your body to go back into like whatever its normal state is, right? So I could maybe race someone for a minute, but if it takes me like, half an hour to recover from that, I'm not particularly fit. And I think it's the same thing in terms of like this is what I'm going through. So yeah, I may relapse, but what is my rebound recovery time? Is it going to take me 2 weeks to get over this relapse or to get back to my normal state? Or can I make a conscious choice to do things that are healthier for myself at this moment in time to lessen that rebound? Because the fact of the matter is nobody is perfect. As much as I would like to try to be and try to emulate perfection, I'm not perfect. Like, who the fuck, like, it's mental to think that I am. So I'm going to make mistakes. So how quickly within my life can I get myself back to healthily and kindly with compassion, get myself back to whatever my homeostasis is? and what can I employ and what can I stop doing that makes that rebound period much, much longer. Like talking to myself and calling myself a piece of shit and judging myself and condemning myself and crucifying myself. Yeah, I think that's it for today.